Hey guys, it's Brittney and today's video has been highly requested for the longest time. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I don't want to talk too much because I just want to get right on into it. But you guys want to know my thoughts on this whole viral Twitter Dear David story. So I'm just going to come out and say it. I think it's fake. I think it's fake. I think it's a very entertaining story, and I can understand how people are just so, into it, and they're constantly like, oh my god. This guy, Adam, he is a cartoonist, and apparently he's a writer for BuzzFeed. So that's kind of another reason why I'm like, okay, BuzzFeed. And he's a cartoonist. So I don't think it's real. So basically, if you don't know what Dear David is, it's all about this guy named Adam, and he's documenting this haunting that's going on in his apartment. He is being haunted by a dead child that goes by Dear David. So he's filming stuff, he's taking pictures, and he's tweeting about it. So let's get right on into this. So this is how it all began. So my apartment is currently being haunted by the ghost of a dead child, and he's trying to kill me. He started appearing in dreams, but I think he's crossed over into the real world now. The first time I saw him, I was experiencing sleep paralysis and saw a child sitting in the green rocking chair at the foot of my bed. He had a huge misshapen head that was dented on one side. I did my best to draw it, and then as you can see, there is the drawing. So for a while, he just stared at me, but then he got out of the chair and started shambling toward the bed. I couldn't move because I was paralyzed. I have sleep paralysis fairly often. It sucks. Right before he reached my bed, I woke up screaming. I had another dream a few nights later, where I was in the library and a girl came up to me and said, "You've seen Dear David, haven't you?" I was like, "Who?" And she said, "Dear David. You saw him?" She continued, "He's dead. He only appears at midnight, and you can ask him 2 questions if you said, 'Dear David,' first." Then she added, "But never try to ask him a 3rd question, or he'll kill you." I was very shaken. Having 2 dreams about the same thing is pretty weird. Anyway, a couple weeks passed without incident. Then David came back in another dream. Same situation. I was in bed and he was sitting in the rocking chair near the window staring at me. In the dream I say, "Dear David, how did you die?" He mumbles, "An accident in a store." I say, "Dear David, what happened in the store?" He groans, "A shelf was pushed on my head." I'm frozen with fear. I ask, "Who pushed the shelf?" David doesn't answer. I realize that I've asked a 3rd question, which I'm not supposed to. At that point, I wake up, absolutely terrified. The next couple days, I Googled deaths in the city, but can't find anything about a kid named David dying in a store. I even tried different names, Daniel, Dylan, Devin, nothing. A few weeks go by without incident. Sort of randomly, the apartment above mine is vacated, and I have the opportunity to move into it. It's a larger apartment, so I'm thrilled. Another month or 2 goes by, and I sort of forget about Dear David. I think he lost track of me because I moved upstairs. But lately, something strange is happening. For the past 4 nights, my cats gather at the front door at exactly midnight and just stare at it, almost like something is on the other side. And then there's the picture of the 2 cats. Last night, I got a weird feeling and looked out at the peephole, and I'm dead certain I saw movement on the other side. There have been a few small developments in my apartment, but I'm not really sure what to make of them. I just know I'm scared. If you recall, my cats usually gather at the door at midnight, but lately it's been getting earlier and earlier every night. I was almost used to routines, so when they started to cry at the door closer to 10 p.m., I was confused. They began a new routine, hover around the door at 10 p.m., cry for about 15 minutes, then wander off as if nothing's wrong. But this week, something else has been happening. Shortly after the usual cat stuff, around 10:30 or so, I started getting phone calls from an unmarked number. My entire call history for the past week looks like this. You'll notice that I answered once yesterday. Since this has been happening for days on end, I thought it might be an automated telemarketer or something. Usually if it's an automated thing, if you answer once, they quit calling, so I picked up. Instead, what I heard on the other end was a peculiar... Did I just say that weird? Peculiar? I think I'm... Peculiar electrical static sound, very similar to the static my sleep app picks up at night. I didn't say anything. I just listened, waiting for some automated message to chime in. After about a minute, the static stopped and there was silence. I kept listening. I heard what I thought was breathing, but it was so faint I can't be sure. My heart was racing, so it was hard to hear. Then, just as I was about to hang up, I heard a very small voice whisper, "Hello." Something about the way they said hello freaked me out. It wasn't a question or a greeting, just hello, a flat statement. So quiet I could barely hear it. I panicked and hung up. I didn't know what else to do. I closed all the curtains in my apartment and turned on every single light. I watched TV until dawn because I was too scared to go to sleep. I sort of feel like I'm losing my mind. If I look at each individual incident on its own, there are perfectly logical explanations for everything. Anyway, last week I bought a pet monitoring camera so I can keep an eye on the cats while I'm overseas. It's basically a nanny cam that connects to the Wi-Fi so you can check in whenever you want. It runs 24/7. In any event, I decided to test it out this weekend. I was away from home one night, so I set up the camera before I left. My phone pinged periodically through the evening, alerting me to the cats running around and playing. Normal stuff. Then around 11, it alerted me again that it detected motion, but when I checked the feed of my apartment, I didn't see anything. So I watched the feed again, still nothing. I watched it a third time, and finally I noticed something. So here is a video and he says, "Watch the chair." It's happening again. I've been leaving the nanny cam on 24/7. It records every time there's movement or sound, as you know. I was going over the feed from this weekend and noticed some weird stuff. During the night on Saturday, while I slept, it recorded the cats in the living room. It seemed pretty unremarkable at first. But then after a few moments, Maxwell freaks out and jumps over something invisible. So let's watch the video of that. Anyway, the next night, the camera recorded a couple more strange videos. Specifically, it recorded Maxwell doing this on and off for hours. He'd sit up on his hind legs and peer around the room as if looking for something or looking at something. This is odd behavior for him, and I can't come up with an explanation for it, especially because of the next video. Here's the final video the camera recorded that night. This afternoon I took a nap and I had a dream I haven't been able to shake. In the dream, I was laying in bed and rolled over to face the other direction. On the pillow next to me was a severed head with a bloody spine attached, snaking down the bed. The head was staring right at me, somehow still alive. It had this huge smile plastered on his face. That's really freaky. Horrified, I screamed, "What happened to you?" The head smiled even bigger. "It feels great." What the hell? Like, what? Other dreams have been just as strange. Things like dark figures staring in my windows, even though I live on the second floor. A lot of self-proclaimed professional mediums have reached out, plus about a dozen ghost hunter TV shows. I've declined them all because I don't really want strangers in my house sensationalizing what's going on. Or you don't want them in your house because it's fake. And you don't want them to not find anything because it's not real. I don't think this is real, guys. I just think it's for entertainment. But if he's trying to pass it off as real and it's like lying, that's what I don't like it. But for entertainment, I get it. It's like The Conjuring's based off true events, but like it's like any horror movie that, you know, has no truth to it or anything and is just for entertainment purposes. So I get that, but I hate it when people make something up and they're lying it and trying to make it out as it's real so people believe them, but it's all a lie. You know what I mean? You guys know. I can't stand that. So I just think it's for entertainment. I don't know. I don't know this guy, but you know. Anyways, so instead I had a friend come over and cleanse the place, and for about a week or so it seemed like it worked. Things appeared to go back to normal. The cats weren't gathering at the door anymore. I stopped having dreams. So now moving to November 6th, 2017. It's been over 4 months since the first time I dreamed of David. This might be long, but stick with me. Last night, I dreamed about him again. It was almost exactly the same as the first time I saw him. In the dream, I saw him in a chair again. I don't have the green chair in my room anymore. This time, it was a recliner I've had for years. He was staring right at me. Just like the first time. Again, I felt paralyzed and I could barely move, but this time, something was different. I still felt mostly immobile, but I could squirm just a little bit. I felt more alert. I could move my hands somewhat. David glared at me, and I dreaded what I knew was coming. He was going to get out of the chair and come towards me. Like before. I had to do something. I keep my phone next to me on the bed and I somehow managed to get a hold of it. I thought if David is going to kill me, maybe I can at least get evidence on my phone. I started snapping pictures in the dark. Sure enough, he crawled down off the chair and began shuffling toward me. He moved slowly like it was a struggle for him. I felt terrified, but I kept taking photos. David limped closer toward me, never taking his eyes off me. Soon I was face to face with him. He started muttering something, too quiet for me to understand. I watched as his eyes rolled back in his head until they were all white. I tried to writhe away from him, but I could barely move. I stared in horror as he began crawling up onto my bed, still murmuring something. And that's when I woke up. Same as before, broad daylight, no trace of David anywhere. It's almost routine now, but it was a dream after all, so I got up and went to work, and after a while the stress of the dream melted away. I wasn't even going to write about this since it wouldn't really be any new information. But tonight I noticed something that petrified me. I went into my phone to find a picture from a couple days ago and saw dozens of pitch black photos in my camera roll, all from last night. It's better just to show you. Turn up your brightness because they're pretty dark. So here, okay, I'm showing you guys the photos now. As you can see, like there's the, the zoom up, what the heck. So guys, I'm going to end this video at those pictures. So there is way more to the story, but I don't want this video to be too long. I really don't, because I know that majority of you guys have heard the story, and I know that you've been really wanting me to react to this, even though I have, you know, read it all and stuff. But like I told you guys, I don't think it's real. I really don't think it's real. I really think it's all for entertainment. I don't know if, in the beginning, like when I first heard about this whole Dear David thing and I read it, I was like, oh my god, he is such a liar, like I can't stand people like this who just make up stuff, and you know what I mean? But then I'm just like, okay, like, he's a cartoonist and I think he's like written some books, so, but his story is just such a horror movie, and he can Photoshop, you know, like he's in this industry where he can, you know, manipulate things in pictures, you know what I mean? So my honest opinion, I do not think it's real. Do I have anything against this Adam guy? No, I really think it's for entertainment purposes. At first I was like, oh, he's such a liar. Like, I don't think he's, like I said, there's a difference between lying about paranormal activity and having it as entertainment, like the horror movies. But he hasn't come out and said it's for entertainment purposes. He hasn't said, like, he hasn't denied, at least I don't think he's denied that it's not real. But I know there's a group of people who think it is real. There's a group of people who don't think it's real. People are like, this can't be real because of this and that. And people are like, this has to be real, like it's too scary. You know what I mean? It's a great story. It is so creepy, but I just don't think it's real. I don't think it's real. Anyways, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I feel like it's gonna be too long and I'm just really trying to shorten my videos. But I hope that you enjoyed it, and I'm happy that I finally did it, even though I'm super late to this. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Today's shout out goes to Ryan. Thank you so much for watching my videos, Ryan. It means the world to me. And if you want a chance at a shout out at in my next video, all you gotta do is make sure you are subscribed to my channel, of course, turn on your post notifications, and comment down below, I'm a brethren, or I don't know, anything like that with like the snake emoji. But if you don't have the snake emoji, like just say I'm a brethren or whatever, and I just pick at random. So there you go. That's how you can maybe get a shout out. You could be next. Like, who knows? You could be next. Who knows? So thank you guys so much for watching. As always, you rock my world, and the song lyrics to Michael Jackson. Hashtag team Brittney44. Hashtag brethrens. Hey. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.